Billion-dollar luxury, private islands, golden palaces, and yachts longer than a football field. She is Ri Sol-ju, the First Lady of North Korea, living in unimaginable opulence. But behind the perfect image lies a shocking truth. Every step she takes is monitored, every smile she shows is rehearsed. Is she a queen or a prisoner? Today you'll discover the chilling reality behind the glittering facade. On the surface, her life looks like a fairy tale. Golden palaces with diamond-studded halls, private islands hidden away from the world's eyes, million-dollar yachts where champagne flows endlessly and parties stretch beyond the horizon. Ri Sol-ju is North Korea's First Lady. In the eyes of the people, she is the ultimate symbol of beauty, power, and flawless elegance. She appears at world summits in designer dresses, strolls through Pyongyang's luxury boutiques, and stands by Kim Jong Un's side during high-level global negotiations. She has everything millions can only dream of: private jets, armored limousines, and palaces built to survive a nuclear attack. Even the Swiss watches and Dior handbags she wears have become symbols not just of fashion, but of unimaginable power. But when you look behind the golden curtain, the truth is terrifying. Every step she takes is under control. Every public appearance is carefully rehearsed in advance. Every smile is not an expression of joy, but a precisely calculated political gesture. In this kingdom of luxury, there is no freedom. Even the First Lady does not live by her own will. Behind the facade of a billion-dollar empire hides an invisible cage where even love, family, and personal desires are nothing more than a carefully staged performance. And Ri Sol-ju, whom the world sees as a queen, may actually be one of the most beautiful prisoners in the history of dictatorships. Before she became a symbol of power, she was a symbol of hope. Born in 1989 in Pyongyang, Ri Sol-ju grew up in a world closed off to almost all North Koreans. Her parents belonged to North Korea's elite. Her mother was a respected obstetrician and her father a professor at a prestigious university. From early childhood, she was surrounded by the best conditions, the best teachers, and the best opportunities. But Ri's true pride was her magnetic ability to captivate audiences with her voice. Her talent was a rare gift in a country where art had long since become a tool of ideology. She sang in the famous Onhasu Orchestra, performing on the nation's biggest stages. On stage, she shined, wearing traditional costumes, flashing a genuine smile, winning over audiences with the tenderness and power of her voice. In 2005, Ri Sol-ju even traveled to South Korea as part of a cheering squad for the Asian Games. She waved the flag of a unified Korea and chanted slogans for peace. Perhaps at that time, she truly believed change was possible. But that dream ended as suddenly as it began. After returning home, her name vanished from public view. No performances, no interviews, no photographs. It was as if she had disappeared. When Ri Sol-ju reappeared, she was no longer a singer. She was the wife of Kim Jong Un. Instead of a microphone, she had carefully selected designer dresses. Instead of a stage, she stood at negotiation tables and military parades. Instead of freedom, she lived a life where every gesture and every word could have consequences. Her biography was rewritten, her past erased. Her name transformed into a new symbol, the beloved First Lady, a title not used for decades in North Korea. But behind that title was an invisible contract, a lifelong role with no way out. In public, she is flawless. Behind the scenes, she is a prisoner of her own title. From the very first days of her marriage, Ri Sol-ju became part of a meticulously crafted performance where every detail, from the movement of her hand to the curve of her smile, was scripted by the state. In photographs, she shines, wearing Dior and Chanel dresses, carrying handbags worth thousands of dollars, adorned with diamond jewelry, like she just stepped off the cover of a fashion magazine. She sits alongside world leaders, exchanges polite words with other first ladies, and appears at grand receptions and military parades. Everything looks as if she is a true queen, but the reality was far more brutal. Behind the cameras, every step she takes is strictly regulated by a special protocol. She cannot speak freely. She cannot move freely. She cannot even choose her own hairstyle or manicure. Every decision, from the color of her lipstick to the height of her heels, is made by a team of special curators tasked with ensuring she always fits the ideal of North Korean femininity. Contact with the outside world is forbidden. No personal phone, no access to the internet, no possibility of seeing her family. Even Ri Sol-ju's parents and brothers were isolated to prevent any leaks of information. And the most terrifying part, in North Korea, divorce does not exist. Once she became Kim Jong Un's wife, Ri Sol-ju was bound to him forever. If she ever fails to meet expectations, her fate could mirror that of other women who once disappeared without a trace from the Kim family's inner circle. Adding to this chilling reality is the existence of the so-called pleasure squads, a tradition passed down from Kim Jong Un's grandfather. Young women are selected for secret parties where the leader enjoys his celebrations of life, while his wife must remain on the sidelines, maintaining the appearance of full approval. Every day of her life is a fragile balance between luxury and fear. Being the First Lady of North Korea means living in a gilded cage, where every gift is a reminder of her lack of freedom. The luxury surrounding Ri Sol-ju was not a reward. It was a chain, dazzling, blinding, but still a chain. In North Korea, insulting a symbol of power means challenging the very existence of the regime. And one day, that challenge came. It all started with what seemed like an innocent act. South Korean activists, defectors, and human rights advocates launched balloons carrying leaflets across the border. Previously, these leaflets carried simple calls for freedom and change. But this time, it was different. Inside the leaflets were not just texts. There were crudely faked, humiliating photo collages of Ri Sol-ju, not just portraying her as Kim Jong Un's wife, but as a woman to be mocked. In a world where every photograph of the First Lady is treated with the highest reverence, and where her image is a sacred part of state propaganda, such an insult was like a blow to the heart of the regime. Kim Jong Un was furious. Or, he wanted everyone to think he was. Just a few days later, something happened that shocked the world. The Inter-Korean Liaison Office, a symbol of dialogue between the two Koreas, was obliterated. Before the eyes of the world, a bright, deliberate act of revenge. The explosion was powerful and uncompromising. North Korea sent a clear message: we do not forget. We do not forgive. But things were not as simple as they seemed. Behind the scenes of this gesture, many analysts noticed strange details. One of the key figures during those days was Kim Yo-jong, Kim Jong Un's sister. It was she, not her brother, who made the most aggressive statements. She was the one who called the South Korean president disgusting and mentally ill. The question grew louder. Was the explosion an outburst of Kim Jong Un's rage, or a carefully calculated move by Kim Yo-jong to show her own power to the world? Behind the dramatic scenes of revenge lay a much deeper battle for influence, for the throne, for the future of North Korea. And Ri Sol-ju, whose honor was the official reason for the explosion, remained in her place, inside her luxurious cage, serving as a living symbol of a regime defended at any cost. While the world watched Kim Jong-un's gestures, the real game was happening behind his back. Just a few years earlier, almost no one outside North Korea even knew Kim Yo-jong's name. The dictator's younger sister stayed in the shadows, driven by her role to be invisible but indispensable. But times changed. After the leaflet incident, her rise to power became impossible to ignore. It was she who issued ultimatums. It was she who made threats. It was her words that were followed by explosions, missile launches, and a new wave of fear across the Korean peninsula. Kim Yo-jong was no longer just the younger sister. She became a force of her own. With each passing month, she appeared more often in public, at negotiation tables, military exercises, and decision-making centers. Each of her appearances was cold, sharp, and deliberate. She didn't hide her contempt for enemies. She called presidents lunatics and diplomats weaklings. She acted as if her voice was the final word on matters of war and peace. and more experts began whispering, maybe she was already the one truly running the country. North Korea had always been built around the cult of the Kim family. But for the first time in years, a figure emerged not just to uphold the cult, but to reshape it for herself. Many noticed that the style of leadership after 2020 became harsher and more unpredictable. Decisions were made faster, and threats became more desperate. And all of it coincided with the rise of Kim Yo-jong's influence. Was the attack on the Inter-Korean Liaison Office truly revenge for the insult to Ri Sol-ju? Or was it a demonstration of a new power shift, carefully disguised as a burst of anger? In a world where the truth is hidden behind golden curtains of propaganda, the real answer is known to only a few. But one thing became clear. A new queen had entered the game for the throne, and her crown was forged from fear, cunning, and ruthless ambition. In public, Ri Sol-ju remains a symbol of beauty and elegance. But behind closed doors, her mission is far more serious, raising the future heir of the Kim dynasty. In North Korea, power isn't simply passed down through blood. It is forged through complete isolation, endless control, and absolute loyalty to the regime. And it is Ri Sol-ju who bears one of the heaviest and most dangerous burdens, preparing the next leader. According to South Korean intelligence, Kim Jong Un and Ri Sol-ju have 3 children. A boy born in 2010, a girl named Kim Joo in 2013, and a third child about whom almost nothing is known. But it's Kim Joo, the mysterious daughter of the dictator, who is now drawing the world's attention. Her face first appeared in public in 2022, when she accompanied her father to military drills and official events. The young girl smiled, waved, and stood next to generals, as if she had known her place from the moment she was born. But her childhood is unlike any other. She has no regular school, no classmates, no ordinary games in the yard. All of her education happens under conditions of absolute secrecy. Her teachers are carefully selected. Every lesson is not just about academics or the arts, it's a lesson in power. She studies not only arithmetic and literature, she learns how to read people, control emotions, and understand political mechanisms. From an early age, she is taught that her smile can be a weapon, her silence a tactic, and her public appearances an act of mass control. Alongside intellectual training, great attention is given to physical endurance: horseback riding, swimming, shooting, and skiing. In the Kim dynasty, horseback riding is a special symbol. The horse is not just an animal, it is a metaphor for strength, status, and historical connection to Korean royalty. When Kim Joo proudly sits on horseback next to her father, it's not just a cute family photo. It's a message to the world. We are preparing a successor. And here comes the big question. What role does Ri Sol-ju play in all of this? She is not just a mother. She is the curator of the nation's future destiny. But how voluntary was this mission? In a system where personal feelings mean nothing compared to the dynasty's interests, where love is an obligation and motherhood is a state strategy, Ri Sol-ju may once again be playing a role that was forced upon her. She is raising a future ruler, inside the same gilded cage where she herself is trapped. On the surface, her life looks like a fairy tale. But in North Korea, even behind the most luxurious walls, there is always a cage. Ri Sol-ju lives among unimaginable splendor. Her reality is a collection of palaces covering dozens of square kilometers, surrounded by high walls, minefields, and hundreds of armed guards. These are not just houses. They are fortified cities, hidden from the eyes of ordinary citizens. According to intelligence reports, the main residence is the Ryongseong complex in Pyongyang. Behind massive gates hides everything the world's wealthiest oligarchs could only dream of: an Olympic-sized swimming pool, a private cinema, wine cellars with the rarest collections, private parks, and even a personal horse riding arena for their daughter. But this isn't just luxury. It's a bunker disguised as a palace. Underground tunnels connect key residences, allowing movement without detection, even during war. The bunkers beneath the palaces are built to withstand a nuclear strike, Everything is designed not for comfort, but for the survival of the elite through any catastrophe. Another symbol of the gilded cage is the Wonsan summer residence on the coast of the East Sea. Here, among white sand beaches and artificial lagoons, Kim Jong Un and Ri Sol-ju spend their secret vacations. Their leisure includes super yachts, helicopter pads, private airfields, and luxurious parties hidden from the outside world. But all this magnificence does not bring freedom. It replaces it. Ri Sol-ju cannot leave the guarded territories freely. Even a simple walk on the beach requires weeks of preparation and absolute secrecy. Every movement she makes is recorded, monitored, and analyzed by special services. No random encounters, no spontaneous trips, no friends she could confide in. Only luxury, only a carefully curated facade. And even when Ri Sol-ju sits on the deck of one of their private yachts, watching the sunset in a golden dress, it is not an act of freedom. It's a carefully staged scene. The paradox of her life is chilling. The more she owns, the fewer choices she has. Behind golden walls and surrounded by billions of dollars worth of luxury, Ri Sol-ju remains a prisoner, beautiful, wealthy, untouchable, and profoundly lonely. Lavish palaces, million-dollar yachts, guarded islands, and private jets. On the surface, her life seems perfect, but behind every diamond, every banquet hall, and every luxury accessory hides another reality. A life without choice, without freedom, and without the right to make mistakes. Ri Sol-ju is surrounded by everything millions dream of, yet she is denied the most basic thing, the right to be herself. In a world where fear is stronger than gold, even the First Lady becomes a hostage. And now the ultimate question is yours to answer. Is Ri Sol-ju a true queen, or the world's most expensive prisoner? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your perspective matters.